Hey everyone, I think I'm live on Facebook. I can't tell. It's been one of those mornings. I woke up at 3:30 and there was no going back to sleep. So I tossed and turned, and by 4 I was up writing, and by 5 I was like, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" 6 hit yoga, so I got that out of the way. 7:30 got in here and just kind of trying to collect everything together. I was trying to use Be Live TV, which we've been using for the past few weeks. I've had a lot of success with that, but not this time around. It said I was on, but then I wasn't on, and so I'm not sure what in the world was going on. Now, it's 10:15. I'm running a little late. I'm glad you're here. I see 3 or 4 of you checked in. Awesome to have you. Today, we're talking about brand rituals. It's the 10th step of the story cycle system called To Be Continued, or creating brand rituals where you get people coming back time and time and time again. And I'm glad you're coming back time and time again for this show. I've been taking you through the whole story cycle system, and this is culminating the 10 steps in today's show. Now, I've got a book that I'm going to share with you on brand rituals that I have found remarkably interesting. The author of the book that I had on the Business of Story podcast, I'll have a link for you for that. And then I've got a slide share, not mine, but a gentleman by the name of John Howell out of Europe, who it's still one of my favorite slide share presentations about brand rituals. Now, I had all of that beautifully built in Be Live TV, but it just crapped out on me. So here I am. I don't know how I'm going to jump back and forth, but we'll just keep going. Now, on today's show, before we get going, I want to tell you about a new thing I'm really, really excited about, and something you can take advantage of. I have been working with Sean Callahan and Mark Schenk, the co-creators of Storytelling for Leaders out of Melbourne, Australia. In fact, a couple weeks ago, I got a chance to spend 3 days in a masterclass with Sean, getting trained and certified as a coach for Storytelling for Leaders. Now, where this plays into the big thing is this story cycle system helps you get your overall meta story together, your brand story together, that your enterprise can grow and your people can live into and prosper from using this brand story. Where Storytelling for Leaders and Storytelling for Sales comes in is it is a story spotting, finding, and telling program that teaches your employees how to find and share the authentic stories happening within your organization that support that overall brand story, builds culture like you've never seen before, and ultimately drives performance. Stories drive performance. So I'm kicking off my first training session on Storytelling for Leaders right here at Park & Co. on Friday, May 26th. And I've got the co-creator, Mark Schenk, who's going to be in town all the way from Melbourne, Australia, who is going to be co-hosting that day-long training with me. So would love to have you. Go to businessofstory.com. The very top blog post, I would give you a link right here, but it blew up on me on Be Live. Go to businessofstory.com. The very top link will have the information in there for the training. Now, it's a one-day training, and then you get 6 months of dedicated training following that, which every week you'll get an email with a homework assignment that will have you telling stories and developing stories and finding stories within your organization. Each assignment takes 10 or 15 minutes, but this is this dedicated program to keep building your storytelling muscle. You know, you can't learn this stuff in a day. You can't really learn this stuff in 2 days. You get the basic theory behind it, and then every week you keep working as a storyteller, and in 6 months you will be like the most remarkable storyteller going, and that is important because it's going to grow your professional brand influence, it's going to help grow your enterprise, and most importantly, it's going to help grow your people and your culture within that enterprise. So check it on out. We only have a few seats remaining for that particular kickoff. It's Friday, May 26th. Join us then. Also, this week, we have some other storytellers that are available to you. I was so fortunate to be at Social Media Marketing World a few weeks ago, and I was running through the corridors finding the top storytelling talent around. And in this week on Business of Story, listen in on the podcast because we have all the way from Dublin, Ireland, Ian Cleary that talks about the vitality that you need to bring to your stories to grow an amazing fan base like he's done in a very short time. Just over 4 years, he has had tens of thousands of followers and is making a huge impact with his company, Razor Social. We also have Peg Fitzgerald on the show. What a character. Peg is like the queen of visual storytelling, especially online on Instagram. She owns that channel. So she spared some time for us and was very generous with her knowledge on how to create award-winning or winning, eyeball-winning, actually, visuals for Instagram and your other work. And then finally, we round out the show with the amazing, the irrepressible, the ever-energetic Brian Fanzo of iSocial. And he talks about live video, just like what we're going right here. I mean, live TV that always has a chance of blowing up on you like it did on me today. But, since I started at 3:30 this morning, what the heck? Anyways, that's all on Business of Story, the podcast. Download it, check it out. Thanks, Lisa, for dropping in. The top leaders develop the best storytelling talents in their people, without a doubt. Now, next up, what do I have here? Want to remind you, next week I get the privilege of going to the Oracle Marketing Summit up in Las Vegas. It is the 25th, 26th, 27th. Going in there, meeting lots of the folks. I'm hoping to do some recording up there, some of the amazing folks at the Oracle Marketing Summit. And if you happen to be up there and we haven't had a chance to meet, I hope you'll seek me out and come up and introduce yourself. We can sit down, chat, get acquainted, and who knows, maybe I can plug you into the show too. That would be awesome. So today, going back to the story cycle system. Now, we have been through everything, and we're ending right up here about building brand ritual. When you get customers up here in this ritual area, this whole thing starts all over again. The backstory now is they know everything about you, and you are leveling them up as an audience, so you have to have a better appreciation of what they're looking for and how you can deliver. And it goes on and on and on. Well, some of the best information I have found about creating rituals, I found in a book by Zain Raj called Brand Rituals. How successful brands bond with customers for life. And Zain was on the Business of Story podcast. We'll throw a link in there too. He was on about a year and a half ago, taking us through the whole ritualizing process. What I like about it is kind of broken down into 4 areas. So think about it this way. There's transaction, there's attraction, there's connection, and there's brand bonding. But what is a brand bond? Where do you build these rituals? So let's go back to the one that really comes to my mind. Oh, there's my phone going off. Why not? Let's shut that one down too. The ritual that comes to my mind is the ritual of wash, rinse, and repeat. It came from the shampoo industry. Now, they got together several decades ago, and they were trying to figure out how do we double sales. And they were at a convention somewhere, and some wiseacre sitting around a table says, well, why don't we just change our product usage description? Instead of just wash and rinse, let's say wash, rinse, and repeat. And that repeat sent sales of, we gotta shut this thing off, shut sales off for the shampoo industry there we go. Increase sales of the shampoo industry like never before, and they had a built-in brand ritual associated with it. So that's what you want to do, is figure out how can you keep bringing people back for more, and Zain really covers it well in his book and Brand Rituals. So think about first that transaction. All you're trying to do is get people aware of what's going on. And in the story cycle process, that is right around that call to adventure phase. They may be on to one product, but you were trying to invite them over to your product. So in the story cycle process, you're thinking about that transaction. How can you connect with them on that level? Number 2 then is attraction. They come in, and this is the road of trials level. This is where they're actually trying your product, and how are you following up with them? It could be through email, it could be through text, it could be something that you're asking them to do online or sharing, so that you are starting to really connect those bonds and build a ritual around it. Number 3 then is connection. They actually buy, they're in, and you are connecting your beliefs and values of your brand to what they have to offer and what they share in the same beliefs and values. That's when they get involved and they're starting to come back for more. That final one is around brand bonding. So how do you get them to be thinking of you almost subconsciously whenever that need arises? Now, someone you might look at as a true brand ritual that they have a little bit of added advantage is Starbucks, for instance. Now they've got the caffeine in there that's going to help build in that ritual, but so often people have that ritual of just showing up. It's a part of their day. It's that third spot in their day. It's not home. It's not work. It's a place to go in, have a cup of coffee, relax, or take it. Now, so that's a really great example of a brand ritual. Another way of doing it is think of FedEx and their tagline of when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. Now, that's a tagline. That certainly is a call to adventure. But when they say that over and over and over, it gets embedded in our psyche, and we think to ourselves, if we've got a package to go out, who else am I going to use but FedEx when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight? Someone else who did a nice job with this was Alka-Seltzer. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. I mean, they absolutely built in the tactical nature of their product in the brand ritual to get you thinking about it, to connect with you on a physical and an emotional level so that when you've had too much to eat and your stomach's a little bit messed up, you're like, okay, who am I going to turn to? Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. Those are just some kind of examples of it. Now, in the B2B world, in the professional services world, I don't really have a whole lot of other ones to point to because we typically don't do that great of a job when we're thinking of selling to businesses because we don't actually think about we're selling to human beings within that business. So this is a huge advantage for your firm, especially if you're in the professional services world. If you can figure out how to create brand rituals around your products or service and connect with people on an emotional level so that they just adopt you in and you become an extension of their team. So when they need something, they are automatically reaching out to you without even thinking about it. So I've got a couple notes in here. Lisa, thank you for that. Hi, Jordan. Great to have you here. Any questions for me as we go along? Drew DeGrassi, my good friend of Eco Driving Solutions. He's here too. Great to have you. If you have any questions, feel free to fill it in here. Now, as I was talking about brand rituals in Zain Raj's book, it's really terrific. It came out about 3 or 4 years ago, and it takes you through the whole thinking, the whole process. There's another one on SlideShare that I like an awful lot from John Howard, Jon Howard. He's out of the UK, I believe. And his is all about, I don't have it written down. I had it in my other setup. But it's just about brand rituals. If you search him on SlideShare, he has a deck that takes you through all the different kinds of rituals. And he talks about a lot of different ways to build rituals. So let me just go through a couple of these with. Now, in some cases, rituals are built on reality. Humans naturally ritualize behaviors, therefore capitalize on this tendency by ritualizing existing product functionality or customer behavior. Think about this like Oreo cookies. When you get an Oreo cookie, what do? They kind of spur you on to open it up, drag that cream across your teeth, and then eat it. That experience is unique to an Oreo cookie. So you can, if you're an Oreo cookie fan of the world, you can see how they can reach out and get you connected with that. Kind of like Corona beer for that matter too. Just putting that lime, they were really one of the first to come out with it and kind of own that. Now, some people would argue, is that a ritual or is that just a garnish? I think it's a ritual because, again, they're putting something tactile in the experience that has been unique to them. Now, other brands are doing that, but it's still very much unique to them. It gets them to stand out in the marketplace. How about embedding meaning? Now, what we've tried to do here is to create meaning out of products that are basically meaningless products. So, for instance, if you're trying to eradicate an awful disease, plop, plop, fizz, fizz is a really good example of this. With Alka-Seltzer, in and of itself, it's just kind of an inanimate object, but what do? They bring it to life. They embed meaning in it by literally talking about the plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. You're going to defining the rules. Be consistent in this. Anchor with context. Play something like American Express reminds you of that ritual of don't leave home without it. So you're always going to take your American Express card with you because they've anchored this ritual in a context of a behavior context. So you go through these and you ask yourself, what can you do to start anchoring a ritual around your product or service to keep people coming back time and time again? It's amazing because when this starts happening, you'll start seeing some rituals happen on their own. Now, one of the things that we do, going back to this idea that I started with at the beginning of the show of storytelling for leaders, the ritual here is not just, it's getting the one-day session going, but we want to ritualize that storytelling behavior in you by every week sending out that email story assignment that's going to take you 10 to 15 minutes to do, where it's going to allow you to start building this unbelievable repertoire of stories that you can use for sales and for culture development. But it's not a one-off thing. So many times you see these training programs, you come in for a day, you do it, and people just forget about it. The habit hasn't been created. So what we have found in all of our storytelling, whether it's the very large brand storytelling working on it, or getting down to help training and teaching people as storytellers themselves, it has to be something that's done over and over again. It literally needs to be ritualized in your life. Stephen King, the famous writer who's just wrote, I don't know how many books, he says too, if you want to become a strong writer, you have to write every single day. An hour a day at a minimum. It's like lifting weights at what makes you stronger. Same is true with storytelling for leaders, storytelling for sales. The same is true really with anything in your life. And if you've got a brand and you are tired of those one-off sales and not getting people coming back for more, figure out how you can ritualize the use of your brand so that they will incorporate and adopt you into their life every single time they need your particular product or service. So that's what I've got for you. Brian, there you are. Great to have you here. Brian, you cannot believe what I've been through today. You probably have, because you told a great story about your whole set blowing up and the beer rolling off and people actually commenting on you grabbing your beer and not your computer. So I love that. But it is live TV. Mike Olson, thanks for joining me here. Glad to have you. Do any of you all have a question for me? Julie Kuntz Morris, great to have you. It's just so much fun. I'm really still trying to figure out this whole live video thing. Lisa Leffler has been helping me a great deal on it. We've been having a lot of fun. And it's sort of cumbersome. As you know, my phone keeps going off and throws me off. And all my wonderful links disappeared because I was trying to do Be Live, but apparently too many people were on. So it wasn't recording when I thought it was, and here I am. If I ended up repeating myself, it's probably because I couldn't remember what I had said previously on Be Live that nobody saw, and where I am now on Facebook Live. So that's it for me today. I know the one other thing I did mention at the top of the show. Again, if you are in Las Vegas next week at Oracle's Marketing Summit, I hope you will track me down if we haven't had a chance to meet. I'll be running around, probably have a Business of Story shirt on, red, gray, or this white one. Please say hello. I'll have a microphone in tow as well. I hope to capture some folks up there to bring you them on Business of Story and the Business of Story podcast. And it would just be great to expand my world and get to know you. So if you're running around there, let me know. I think that's about it for today. If you do have any other questions for me, you can find me over on Facebook or join our Business of Story Raconteurs group on Facebook, where we are constantly filling in a ton of information for you on how to just advance your work as storytellers. So thanks for listening. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for being here with us, and have a wonderful weekend. Take care.